How are you? Good to see you.
You too. Good morning. All right. Are we ready to roll?
Yeah, we needed
We
a
are.
quorum, so if we,
And I'm not really good quorum yet.
All right then. All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. I'm grateful for another year full of opportunities, and also a special day for a new commissioner who's going to join us. So, looking forward to working together and looking at the monumental work that we're going to be facing together. So, with that being said, I'd like to call our monthly commission meeting to order. For the record, it's 11:04 a.m. And we'll work through our agenda for today. So, our next item is roll call. So we'll start with our quorum count. Commissioner Stubbs,
here,
Commissioner Juan,
Here.
Commissioner Harvey, late as usual, but he's here. All right, that's a full quorum. So we've got a full quorum for our meeting today. Thank you much, commissioners. We'll go ahead and move on to the invocation. And let's see, I'll be happy to provide our invocation if everyone would just give us a moment for our prayer. Our dear, kind, and gracious Heavenly Father who is in heaven, we're so grateful, Heavenly Father, for this new year and for the work that is there for our county, for our citizens. Father, we pray that Thou may bless us as leaders for strength, for wisdom, for inspiration. Help us to make good decisions, and please also bless our administrator as he also works with us to address areas within our county that can be better. And Father, help us to be inspired to take the best directions for policy, for procedures. Help us to keep in mind the backbone of our county, which is our employees. We pray for them and their families, Father, and we also ask that Thou may strengthen us as a government so that we're effective and efficient in the work that we do for our citizens. Help us to build a better relationship with the state and the federal government. Help us to assert our sovereignty and to assert the things that our county needs and wants, and help us to be effective in working with our elected leaders in the state, in the federal government, with our congressmen, with the president. Father, help us to find ways to be efficient, to communicate as one. Please bless us, Father, as leaders to be receptive to the needs of our community. And we're so grateful, Heavenly Father, for the love that you give us, and thank you for the moisture that you will give us and the moisture you do give us. Father, help us to have a good meeting today. And Father, please be with our recent Commissioner Bruce Adams in his new role. Help him to grow in the committee for our state highway, as well as other areas that he will continue to work in. And please be with our leaders, our new president, our new congressmen that are in office, and our elected leaders in our communities down south. So grateful for the work we do, grateful for the opportunities that come. I say these things and I ask these things in the name of our sacred and holy Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, thank you very much for that. We will now stand and let us do our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much for that. Moving on to our conflict of interest disclosures. Commissioners, if you had the opportunity to review our agenda for today, are there any conflict of interest that you might declare or not?
I have none.
I have none.
Okay. And I also have no conflict that I can see. So for the record, there are no conflicts for any of the commissioners for our agenda items today. Thank you. And our next item is public comment. If there's any public comments now will be the time, and I'll defer to our administrator, Mac.
Commissioner, if we could, let's hold off on the public comments. There's nobody signed up, but let's go right into the swearing in ceremony and take that. And then after that, we can go to
Okay.
public comments if you're okay with that.
Yeah?
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Mhm.
Commissioners? Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and go to our oath of office, and we'll give the time over to our judge, Judge Hazelton, if you will.
Okay, first one we have on here is our commissioner. We're ready to swear in.
What I would like to do
Do we need to go shake
all
him?
of the elected officials come take mine right
Can we go there to shake their hands over there?
Afterwards, after swearing in, you bet.
I'll do it by size, I'll do it by gender. I'll be
Just
gone
do it
if I'm
here
gonna
so
waste
we can
another
shake
hour
their
of
hands.
sleep, figuring out how I'm gonna have you sit. However you are is perfect with me. The pronouns we use today are gonna be very few. They're gonna be you and yours, okay? When it comes to the paper and the signing, it's say I. Don't let the singular and the plural mess with you, okay? What I'd like you to do is individually, starting with the treasury, come state your name and the office at which you've been reappointed or elected to, and go on down the line. State your name and your office.
Linus Pearson, San Juan County Treasurer.
Brad Bunker, San Juan County Surveyor.
Rick Meyer, San Juan County Assessor.
Cindy Holyoke, San Juan County Recorder.
Dory Mon, San Juan County Commissioner.
If you each will raise your hand. You don't have to repeat after me. That you solemnly swear that you will give truthful answers to this oath, that you may three things. You swear that you will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Utah, and that you will defend, obey, and do the ability to the best of your ability in the office that you have been elected to. You may affirm by answering.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I thank you for being willing to take the position in the county, and may God bless you in your efforts.
Now, we can come up here individually. Commissioner Mon, if you'll come here and go ahead and sign your name. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And there is this lady here reaching for this. We'll see that you get a copy and get it recorded officially. Rick Meyer with the assessor's office. You'll just sign right there. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Cindy Holyoke. Brad Bunker. Congratulations. Gladys Pearson, Treasury. Thank you very much. I'll shake your hand too. Thank you, commissioners, administrators.
Thank you.
Okay, we do usually give a couple seconds if anybody wants to take family photos up here in the flag. We can kind of move out of your way so that you can at least get pictures and everything going. So.
Maybe I can move the flag over, get a little closer there. Okay, right there.
That's all right.
Very good.
We got it. Yeah, come over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here, come on this side. Kate, come right in.
Let me move that chair. It's kind of getting in the
Oh,
way.
yeah, Mitchell.
Mitch, he won't come. He doesn't want to be related.
Alright, you guys ready?
First by sign this. The attorney doesn't want to do it, the commissioner.
This one. I took a bunch.
One more.
Yes, to you as well. You need to be sometime.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Go get
All right.
Oh, here.
How are you?
I'll clean the room out.
Yeah.
Get that over with and nobody wants to stay. Right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It'll be fun. We're
We'll be
excited.
all right.
We are.
There's no backing out now. You swore.
That's right, we did
Yep.
swear.
You'll be forever on our wall. Cool.
Right? Goodbye, thanks.
First time the commission has had
ditto
two
copy
females
of
on
you.
it. It's pretty cool.
That's why I said we should swear her in, so when I can't be here, she can be here.
Can we say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner.
I just want to make a couple observations. First, this is a historical moment because it's the first time we had two women as councilmen in the
Good luck, Jamie.
history elected to county commissioners. I also want to acknowledge the presence of one of our former commissioners, and we belong to a club. The only commissioner can understand what it's like to be a commissioner. And so I appreciate that, you being here, and appreciate your service, and it's nice to see, put up another face to a picture in the wall. And so thank you for being here, and we'll maybe someday I can visit with you. Thank you so much for your service, and we're glad to be here. And time goes by fast. Seems I can't believe my term. I've been serving for 2 years, and it went by really fast. And it's a privilege to serve San Juan County, and it's a privilege to be here and watch my own growth. Because when I came and I was over there, I was very scared before I came in for this kind of ceremony, and it's nice, and we welcome a new commissioner, and thank you so much for being here, all of you.
Awesome. Thank you, Commissioner Stubbs, for those kind words. And again, congratulations to all of our new officials that are coming on board. Rick's been with us now for as far as I remember, but Cindy as well. So has Brad?
Mm-hmm.
Brad also? Okay. Well, very cool. I'm not intimidated by the fact that there's more women in our club now. I think I've been groomed to this because in my family, mostly girls with one son. So we're going to be okay because girls do good things too. But I look forward to working with our new commissioner, Juan, as well as Commissioner Stubbs. So thank you again for that. Going back to our agenda with public comment now. I'll go ahead and
Yeah, we didn't have anybody signed up, but I know that Jake had mentioned that he wanted to just make a quick update from the BLM, and so, all right, take it away.
Well, I don't have much of a public comment. I just wanted to come and welcome you, Commissioner Mon, to the commission, and looking forward to working with all three of you as commissioners this coming year as we jump into a new year. Look forward to a partnership as we work together through some things this year. And in the next week or so, there will be a decision signed for the management plan for Bears Ears National Monument. And so I just wanted to offer to come back to the next commission meeting and to talk about that plan, if that would interest you all, if that would be of interest to be on the agenda. I can bring somebody from the Forest Service with me, and we can talk about that and some potential things we can work on together in this year, 2025. But just wanted to say, looking forward to continue to work with you guys and having a good partnership, and love working with you all and the county and the staff that are here. Just great partners to work with. We work closely with Nick and TJ and many others here in the county, and so appreciate our partnership that we have already, and look forward to continuing that this year in 2025. So thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, anybody else wanting to make a public comment in the audience? Go ahead.
Wow.
Oh, Rarity. Come
This
on
is
up. You
This is
betcha.
the chance for him to talk.
Yeah.
Only time I've talked in these meetings for 2 years. No, I just want to congratulate y'all and mention that, like Bruce Adams often said, of how many dozens and hundreds of students he has out in the world doing good things, former students. I just want to mention that all three of the commissioners are my former students.
All right.
And I always want an extra credit because I cooked for him and did all the work. And I was taking math from him and it ruined my records from the University of Utah because I got a B or something like that. So
Perfect. As long as you keep on that University of Utah stuff, that's perfect. Okay, anyone else? Let me check online real fast. I'm not seeing anybody online. Okay, commissioners, that is your public comment period for today.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to our next item, which is recognitions, presentations, and informational items.
Okay, this
Looks
one's
like-
going to be a fun one. This is a presentation for the annual Open and Public Meetings Act, Government Records Act, and Management Act. Let's see, and then we've got the Utah Public Officers Employee Ethics Act training. This one our county attorney is going to provide for you today. You will hear in a lot of your boards that you attend this same type of a training. And so just bear with us as we go through this required training. We can check the box on our audit information. Let me go get this teed up and everything for Mitch. I'll be right back.
Oh. He might give us a test in the end.
He
so-
might.
I'm not sure which.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming. We'll see you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye, Dad. See ya. I do know you.
Has you met her
Thanks for
before?
coming. Yeah, he's met me once.
Let's do the.
That's her dad, do you know that? That's her father.
Grandma.
Let's
He used to be a
let's do-
Utah
commissioner.
Open Meetings Act?
And the commissioner took over
Yeah, let's try
after
that one.
him. And he is in the bottom corner here.
On our
So
YouTube
he
channel.
served with,
If you just sign on County Commission,
If you
It'll
can't,
pop up.
Rosa can put you on. Just go
yeah,
around
she
the corner.
can
She'll put you on.
sign you on.
Yeah, hit that one. See what.
Okay. Do you want the mouse? You can
let's
go through
see.
it on your own.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, hold on. Let me get that off. You can control it.
All right. Okay, so the Utah Open Public Meetings Act is found in the Utah Code at section 52-4-101 at sec. This is just, I thought, very informational. That answers a lot of the questions. First question is, the act requires that the public's business be done in public. It provides requirements for conducting meetings of public officials who have authority to make policy and budget decisions in the public's interest. It requires that there be notice and an open deliberative process before a public body votes on matters under its jurisdiction. All votes are taken in public. What is a public body? The Act defines public body as any administrative, advisory, executive, or legislative body of the state or its political subdivisions that is created by the Constitution, consists of two or more persons, expends, disperses, or is supported in whole or in part by tax revenue, and is vested with authority to make decisions. Obviously, the commission falls under a public body. What is a meeting? So the convening of a public body or specified body with a quorum present, including a workshop or an executive session, whether in person or by means of electronic communications, for the purpose of discussing, receiving comments from the public, or acting upon a matter over which the public body or specific body has jurisdiction or advisory power. What isn't a meeting? The Act says a meeting does not mean a chance gathering or social gathering. Quorum, I think we all know the definition of that, means a simple majority of the membership. So with a commission, obviously you have to have 2 to 3 people there. What isn't a quorum? Quorum does not include a meeting of 2 elected officials by themselves when no action, either formal or informal, is taken. How do we notice up a public meeting? You have to have at least 24 hours in advance of meeting, posted at the public body's office, posted on the Utah Public Notice website, and newspaper of general circulation. The agenda must be posted with notice, must be reasonably specific, such that an average person would be on notice as to all topics of discussion and action planned for the meeting. In addition, a public body that holds regular meetings that are scheduled in advance over the course of a year shall give public notice of at least once a year of its annual meeting schedule. And I think that's already been done for January or for 2025. Do we have to keep meetings and or recordings? Yes to both. Even though there is an audio recording, the approved written minutes will be the official record. Include both written minutes and recording of open meetings as public records. Public bodies shall establish and implement procedures for the public body's approval of the written minutes for each meeting. The written minutes should contain date, time, and place of meeting, name of members, substance of all matters proposed, discussed, or decided, record by individual member of each vote taken by the public body, name of each person who makes a public comment and the substance of the comment, and any other information that is a record. So that's what the minutes need to contain. Posting approved minutes and audio recordings to the public notice website. I assume that all of you have been to the Utah Public Notice website. If you haven't, you can simply Google it. But any pending minutes available to public within 30 days after the meeting. Approved minutes posted to the public notice website within 3 business days of public body's approval. And audio recordings are also 3 business days after the meeting. I prepared on this subject an opinion that I'll share with you shortly here on the recording versus the not recording, just to refresh our memories on that. But what about electronic meetings? Do I have to attend meetings in person? May a meeting be held without people in the same room? Public bodies may meet by phone or other electronic means that allows participants to hear or observe communications. The public body must adopt by resolution rules or ordinance governing the use of electronic meetings. Notice requirements still apply. The public must have a means to attend or participate. May be held without an anchor location if it presents a substantial risk for health or safety, but requires written determination by the chair of the public body. The act does not restrict us from, as a public body, from transmitting an electronic message to other members of the public body when the body is not in an open meeting. So in an open meeting, you can't text each other. Emergency meetings. Due to unforeseen circumstances, and that is underlined for a good reason, the emergency must be unforeseen. An example might be a broken water line that cannot wait for the next scheduled meeting. Failure to comply with the Act's requirements isn't an unforeseen circumstance. So just, if we don't follow our own rules, we can't declare an emergency. Requires the best notice practicable, cannot be held unless an attempt has been made to notify all members of the public body and a majority of the members approve the meeting. Public body can go from an open meeting into a closed meeting under certain circumstances. That particular code section 205 lists all of the reasons for closing and opening an open meeting. And quorum must be present. A motion to close the meeting must be made, naming the specific statutory reason for closure. A roll call must be taken. 2/3 of the body must approve the closed meeting. If the closed meeting is held to discuss certain things, the presiding member of the public body is to execute a sworn statement that the sole purpose of the closed meeting was to discuss these issues. No recording is required.
Mitch, I have a question on that.
Uh-huh.
So when it says the roll call must be taken, I've seen this done a couple different ways. So just to clarify, I've seen it as a unanimous yes, or is it I've seen it done where you need to state your name and if you're a yes or a no. Is there any clarification on that?
I think just so long as the record reflects or knows that you were there present,
But each person's name needs to be listed on how they voted.
yes.
Okay.
All right. If the meeting is closed for any other statutory reason, a recording shall be made, and written minutes can also be made. These are protected records under GRAMA. No votes are taken in closed meetings, except to end the closed meeting. Reasons a meeting may be closed: to discuss character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual. To discuss collective bargaining, to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation. Anytime we're thinking about buying, selling, or leasing real property, we're acting as competitors for that, so we don't have to disclose the details of that. Also to discuss the sale of the property. If public discussion would disclose the appraised value or prevent transaction on best possible terms. To also discuss security, personnel, devices, or systems. To discuss investigative proceedings regarding allegations of criminal misconduct, and a few other exceptions relating to the legislature, higher education, and the Utah Procurement Code. What is forbidden during a closed meeting? You may not approve an ordinance, resolution, rule, regulation, contract, or appointment. You cannot interview a person to fill an elected position. Notice that says to fill an elected position, so I think appointed positions, you can obviously discuss that in a closed meeting or interview them in a closed meeting. Take any final action. Final votes must be open and on the record. And then what happens if someone violates if we get out of whack and violate a provision of the Open Meetings Act? A court can void any action in violation of the law. Sometimes a violation can be cured by discussing and taking a public vote in a subsequent meeting. May have to pay court costs and attorney's fees. In addition to any other penalty under this chapter, a member of a public body who intentionally violates or intentionally abets or advises in violation of the closed meeting provisions is guilty of a Class B misdemeanor, 6 months in jail and $1,000 fine. These are more legal things, but who can take action? The Attorney General and county attorneys. Any party denied a right by the action taken. Court may order compliance and enjoin violation. Aggrieved party may recover attorney's fees. That's the biggest thing. The act does not prohibit the removal of any person from a meeting if the person willfully disrupts the meeting to the extent that orderly conduct is seriously compromised. Common violations of the Open Meetings Act: closing meeting without members of the public body voting first in an open meeting to close the meeting. Conducting a closed meeting for reasons other than those allowed by the Act. Taking official or final action in a closed meeting. Failing to properly provide notice of a public meeting. So parting tips and helpful suggestions: 24-hour notice. Be specific with agenda items. No old business, new business. Action taken on items discussed in closed meeting is not enough. Closed meetings only for allowed statutory purposes and follow the process. Provide minutes in a timely manner. don't text during meetings, receive training once a year, err on the side of transparency. When in doubt, consult your legal counsel. Along with that, yeah, I think I sent this little thing to you last year that is a little more relates to closed meetings. It says a public meeting that has been properly noticed and which a quorum is present may include a closed meeting portion if a majority of the quorum vote to go into closed meetings. There's three scenarios. There's may, shall not. A closed meeting may be held for any purpose set forth in that section, and this is kind of a repeat of what we just talked about, but to discuss personnel, strategy sessions to discuss collective bargaining, strategy session to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation, to purchase, sell, exchange of real estate, purchase, sell, exchange of water rights, deployment of security personnel, devices, or systems, investigating proceedings regarding allegations of criminal conduct, ethic complaints, deliberations and information gathered related to procurement, including information provided to the government body, response to solicitation, protest, appeals, trade secrets, obviously, cannabis production, licensing, and so that's when a closed meeting may be held for any of those reasons right there. Shall only applies to specific agencies, but it's good to kind of know this. Those are agencies listed in colored text. A closed meeting shall be held for Health and Human Services Interim Committee, Child Welfare, Conservation District, Compassionate Use Board, meeting of the Colorado River Authority of Utah, meeting to discuss application of the regulatory sandbox program. So those are special groups and boards, but under those you have to have a closed meeting. A closed meeting may not or shall not be used to interview a person applying for an elected position, discuss filling vacancies for elected positions, discuss character, professional competence of physical or mental health, whose name was submitted to fill a vacancy of an elected position. And then this was the big thing. All closed meetings are recorded except for meeting to discuss personnel. Closed meeting to discuss personnel, the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual is allowed under that statute. Unlike a regular closed meeting, closed meetings to discuss personnel are not recorded. Instead, the presiding person shall sign a sworn statement to affirm the sole purpose of closing the meeting was to discuss personnel. You don't have to record for deployment of security personnel, devices, or systems. Any purpose is set for in the shall section above, so that comes back up to these special agencies here. Those are not recorded. The purpose of the closed meeting shall be stated in the vote, such as for pending litigation. Any questions on that? No. All right, well, let's go over the other topic that's a lot more complicated. This is I tried to find something, but this thing is 112 pages long. And I can email these documents to each of you, but I thought I'd just skim through. I think we all know that what GRAMA is. It's access to government records. It's the government records, let's see, Government Records Management Act. anyway, it states that every person has the right to inspect a public record free of charge and the right to take a copy of a public record. Under GRAMA, a record is public unless otherwise expressly provided by statute. For example, records classified as private, controlled, or protected are not public records. It goes on, there's a lot of actual lawsuits that try and discuss what violations are. Here's an interesting one here.
So I have a question on that.
Yes.
Who determines what the restriction is on that record and whether it can be released?
I would say typically the,
Would it be legal?
huh?
Would it be legal that
Yes,
determines that?
legal counsel. Let's see, where are we at here? Had to do with San Juan, Cal. Okay. In 2007, the television station KSL requesting mugshots of a man and a woman who had been booked into San Juan County Jail and who were convicted subsequently of crimes against a minor. The station requested the photographs in connection with the news story. The county denied the station's request, arguing that the mugshots were private because public disclosure would constitute an invasion of the convicted individual's privacy, which, by the way, is never a good reason to deny a records request, because the need for the public is much more demanding than the needs of individuals to their privacy. The station appealed to the district court. In May 2009, the district court issued an oral ruling from the bench that the mugshots constitute public records under GRAMA. There's also...
That was our case, right?
Huh?
That was our case.
Uh-huh.
Did we win?
Nope.
Here's a
I know.
notice, and this always I think comes up, and we'll discuss it in a little bit, but what about the cost? This paragraph here says a disturbing recent development has been the practice of state and local governments to use their information monopolies as revenue generators. Although GRAMA limits government copying charges to the actual cost of providing a record, some state and local government agencies have interpreted this language to include various overhead, labor, and other indirect costs. The result has been unreasonably high copying or compilation charges for some records. And to just give you an idea, it says that the Utah Court of Appeals held that the defendant had not violated GRAMA by charging $280 in compilation fees, where the defendant had to take files, documents, and data from several sources and organize them in order to respond to the request. So who can request records? Every person has the right to inspect a public record free of charge and the right to take a copy of the public record. So anybody. Under GRAMA, a record is public unless otherwise expressly provided by statute. GRAMA restricts access to all records that are classified as private, controlled, or protected. Well, that doesn't mean that you can't start just classifying everything as private, controlled, or protected. It's got to fit under those definitions. GRAMA also restricts access to all records to which access is restricted pursuant to court rule, another state statute, federal or federal regulation. Purpose of request. Under GRAMA, a requester's purpose is irrelevant to his or her right. So they don't have to give you a good reason. They can just say, I want it. Use of records. GRAMA imposes no restrictions on the public's use of the information disclosed by the government. However, a court may limit the requester's use and further disclosure to safeguard certain interests in the case of private, protected, or controlled records. GRAMA applies to all government entities, which include the executive branch, obviously the legislative bodies, which is us, and to the courts. GRAMA does not apply expressly to non-government bodies receiving public benefits or funds. However, certain records created and maintained by private entities that enter into contracts with the government may be available for public inspection under GRAMA. For example, the following records normally are public: documentation of the compensation that a government entity pays to a contractor or private provider, records documenting a contractor's or provider's compliance with the terms of a contract, records documenting services provided by a contractor or private provider.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, us as individual commissioners, we have probably records and our possession in our phones or social media, and so people can request those records.
Yes. So common practice for all of us is our phones. If you've got county, if you're using your phone for county business, they can access all your emails and your text messages and your phone calls. You know, a lot of people that have one phone for strictly county business, and then another phone strictly for personal business for that very reason. They can get to all your emails if you have a personal computer at your home and you are doing business, county business on that personal computer. They can access those files. Now, the process for that may be such that obviously if it goes legal, the court would order a private party to go through your emails and sort which ones are business and which ones are personal. But that's a risk you take.
So what happens if I refuse to turn my personal computer or things like that? Do I?
Well, then they would probably sue the county and sue you, and then it would be in the hands of the courts.
Okay.
And, you know, most likely the court would order somebody to go through your computer and to sort out which ones are county business and which ones are personal.
What if it's just the county coming to me wanting to see my computer or my phone or my social media? So what, I just think about now from the other side of the county, being in the county side, what are our resources if people, you know, we hear people destroying their phones and doing this and that. So what is a right as a county to request
So if
from either, you know, an employee or whoever has records that are important to us? So what are our resources?
this would just be, this is GRAMA, which is a government program for any person. So that your question, I think, would be more of a policy question. You know, can the county go to Miss Bushnell there and say, we want you to turn over all of your emails and everything like that, which, you know, if that would be, you know, the county has the authority to do that, the power to do that.
But is that under the? it's
But
still-
that would not be under grandma. That would
Okay.
just be under, you know, what is, because an employee, Miss Bushnell there is an employee of San Juan County. Everything that she does and has on her computers is county property, it's not her
Mhm.
property. So if the county went to her and says, we need you to give us your laptop, it's a simple request to have Miss Bushnell return to the county property. All right, anything else? Let's see. Here, here's a list of public records, and that's the big question. You know, you've got the one thing that says that public records include all records that are not private, controlled, protected, or otherwise exempt. So that's where a lot of the litigation comes from. What is a public record? The list of public records, which is illustrative rather than exhaustive, includes laws, names, gender, gross compensation, job titles, job descriptions, business address, qualifications, undercover law enforcement personnel and investigative personnel if disclosure reasonably could be expected to impair or endanger any individual's safety. Final opinions that are made by a government entity in a judicial, administrative, or adjudicative proceeding. Final interpretations of statutes or rules unless otherwise protected. Information contained in the records of the open portion of the meetings of government entities. Judicial records, records held by government entities. So basically any records, Department of Commerce records concerning incorporation and uniform code filings, data on individuals otherwise private, but the individual who is the subject of the record has given the government entity written permission to make the record available to the public. Records of compensation paid by a government entity to a contractor, summary data collection from records that are classified as private controlled. So there's administrative staff manuals, records. So basically just anything that's kept, any record that's kept in the course of conducting county business would be a public record. And then these are more, can the requester choose a format? The answer to that is no. The county can give, if they request some records, they can't tell you, I want it on, you know, a thumb drive, I want it emailed to me. The county can choose whatever form or format they want. Can the requester obtain a customized search of a computer database to fit particular needs? Although GRAMA does not specifically address this issue, it is likely that a requester could obtain a customized search of computer databases as long as the requester identifies the record sought with reasonable specificity and pays for the search costs. Obviously, anything that's disseminated online would be a public record. Proprietary software are not subject to GRAMA. And then as far as what can we charge as fees, states that a government entity may charge a reasonable fee. particular fee specifications or provisions, a government entity may charge for the cost of staff time for search and retrieval of records if the request is for records compiled in a form other than that normally maintained by the government entity. However, a government entity may not charge a fee for reviewing a record to determine whether it is subject to disclosure. So if we spend 10 hours trying to figure out if it's a public document, we can't charge that to the requester. But I think that gives you a fairly basic understanding of GRAMA. Just know that people have the right to a transparent government, and they can access the records, even records on your computers and your phones. Any questions on that?
Mitch?
Yes.
Mitch, I just want to make sure I understand something. So, in other words, the Spotify playlist that I listen to as I drive to the legislature is public record.
You better be careful.
Right?
No, that would not be a public record.
Only if we contract with Spotify for your playlist.
Yeah. The other topic, and I may need to come back and talk some more, but it's basically the ethics. And the most important thing to remember on that is conflicts of interest. You can't take anything that you learn in your position as a county commissioner to your advantage in a private capacity. So, if you have privileged information that perhaps a big development is coming and you could possibly acquire the land, and you go out and buy that land, that obviously would be a conflict of interest. So anything you learn in your capacity as a commissioner, you cannot turn around and take that knowledge to invest it for personal gain or apply it for personal gain. I think as long as you remember that, then you'll be fine from an ethics standpoint and a conflict of interest standpoint.
Okay.
And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Any other questions or comments, commissioners?
No,
No.
thank you.
Okay.
You bet. And I will email this stuff to you, this stuff on the GRAMA. I'll try and find a more abbreviated, simplistic explanation of GRAMA for you. But I will email these to each of you. You can put them in your, don't put them in your personal phone, put them in your business phone.
Download it to artificial intelligence and tell them to do in a kindergarten version.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chat GPT, right? Well, thank you, Mitch. Appreciate the review there. That is important, and it's good that we get this on an annual basis. I know that when we go out to UAC, they also train us
huh?
there at the county level with other commissioners in our state. So, but it's good to have a review, and it's good to be reminded that our work is for the public, and so therefore anything we engage in is public information. So, okay, well, moving on with our agenda today, we are now at our consent agenda. part. So number 3, Bashi. Go
Okay.
ahead, Mac.
Absolutely.
Review.
So just as a reminder for Lori, you've probably seen these consent agenda items before. We place these as routine items that are typically on here, and then if there's further discussion that you want to have, you can always kick them out to have that further discussion. But typically they're routine contracts, things like that we typically do here. You'll see appointment of boards and things like that have been vetted
Right.
underneath us on our subdivisions of the county. And so with that for today, you have item number 3, approval of the December 17th, 2024 commission meeting minutes. Item 4, approval of the December 17th, 2024 commission meeting work session minutes and the executive session affidavit. Item number 5, approval of the December 30th, 2024 commission meeting minutes. You have item number 6, the approval of the checked registers for December 14th to December 31st, 2024. Item number 7, approval of $22,028.66 in small purchases. This is following our purchasing policy where I have the authority to approve up to a certain limit. So anything over $1,000, I think typically goes up to $15,000. So you'll see my approvals, but going back to that open meetings, in order to be transparent, we bring those to the commission for approval, even though after the fact they've already been approved. It's mainly making sure that our purchases are transparent throughout the county. So we have $2,993.66 for a mini split system for the maintenance department. You have $8,790 for diesel fuel for San Juan County landfill, and $10,245 for multifunctional CAD printer plotter for the surveyor and recorder department. Item number 8 is approval for the renewal of alcohol licenses. These are the renewals. So you've got ShirtTel LLC store, Sunrise Trading LLC, Twin Rocks Cafe, Halls Crossing store, and Halls Crossing Marina. Each of those on an annual basis as they renew, that one of the state requirements for that alcohol license is that the county also approves them at the county level. So that's why you see those there. On item number 9, you have the ratification of the content licensing agreement between Utah Real Estate and San Juan County for multiple listing services for the assessor's office. This gives him the ability to access the MLS system so that when they're assessing, they can factor on a broader scale of what those assessments should be, mainly for the commercial businesses here in the county. Item number 10 is the approval of the reappointments of Jennifer Davia and Bill Haven to the San Juan County Tourism Tax Advisory Board for additional 4-year terms. Then you have the approval of the reappointment of Doug Gorman to the Wilson Arch Special Service District for an additional 4-year term as well. So that, commissioners, is your consent agenda items for today.
Thank you, Mac. Commissioners, how would you like to entertain the items, one by one
As a whole.
or a whole?
I make a motion to approve item as whole.
Okay. Motion to approve our consent agenda items 3 through 11. Okay.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Mon. Motion to approve consent agenda items by Commissioner Stubbs and seconded by Commissioner Mon. Any other comments or questions, commissioners?
No.
Okay, then let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor for approval of our consent agenda items, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is 3 in favor, unanimous approval for our consent agenda items. Moving on to our business and action items. Item number 12.
Okay, this one here is consideration and approval of a resolution setting the term and rotation of the chair and vice chair of the Board of San Juan County Commissioners for the year of 2025. So this is when the arm wrestling starts taking place. Typically in our commission, we rotate every year, and then it just kind of goes in order of tenure or whatever is kind of how it's been in the past. on a normal cycle. And so we did have commissioners in the past want each commission that was chair to have 2-year cycles on there, but then we got back to normalcy of every year where it rotates. And so is there anyone wanting or willing to be the chair? Right now we're chairless, vice chairless. So after this decision made is then you now take over the meeting, whoever the new chair is, and proceed forward from here. So leave it to
I'll
you.
follow suit like Commissioner Harvey. Last year he volunteered.
Yep.
And I thought that was really appropriate for him to be the chairman at the time. Well, since he already have the knowledge how to conduct the meetings and things like that, and I would throw myself in the hat on the arena, I guess, and volunteer for the chair.
I'd like the motion to have Commissioner Stubbs be the chair of our commission for our current year.
I'll second that.
Okay, second. Do we close nomination as well? Do we-
And it would be good to have the vice chair
Okay.
decided as well at the same.
All right. Anyone up for vice?
Oh, I suppose I could do it.
All right. I motion for Commissioner Mon to be vice chair for our current commission year.
I'll make a motion to appoint Commissioner Mon as vice chair.
Okay. Anything else, Mac?
Other than just that final motion to approve.
Okay.
Got 'em.
And so let's take a motion to approve Commissioner Stubbs as our chair and Commissioner Mon as our vice chair. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Commissioner Stubbs, you are now
In
running
charge.
the meeting.
No, I'll make a motion that you continue and finish the meeting.
I like it.
Absolutely, you could do that.
Okay.
Mhm.
I thought I was going to get
Where
off
you go
easy.
next? 2 weeks.
All right, so motion by Commissioner Stubbs to allow me to continue for the rest of the meeting for today. Okay, Commissioner, did you second that?
Yes, I second that.
All right, second that by Commissioner Mon. Let's vote on allowing me to finish the agenda for today. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, Commissioner Stubbs, for that boost in confidence. Okay, continuing on with our business and action items. Item 13, Matt.
Okay, item 13 is consideration and approval of the assignments for calendar year 2025. So on your screen, you see the commission assignments for 2024. You have Commissioner Adams with his assignments in there as well. And I provided you, hopefully you were able to review kind of the summary document that we provided in your packet that kind of gives a brief explanation of all the boards that we have and what they mean. So for 2025, that's Commissioner Lori's coming on board. Now we need to either jostle these up, switch boards, and get those final assignments to continue forward. Let me start with, so you see the empty boards down below that we need somebody to be on. And so we have that listed there, but then on mine, there were assignments that the commission has given me in the past, and we can either take those off or continue with them. The local homeless coordinating committee is something that I chair, and then Commissioner Stubbs. So Rosa and I work this, and then Commissioner Stubbs sits on that board as well. On the communications and TV, there is an organization that we meet with. It's similar to how you have the 7 counties, you have the Southeastern Utah Association of Governments. We also have EUTV. EUTV is Eastern Utah Television. There's a board that is of commissioners and technicians. I have been assigned that in the past to attend that. Typically what we oversee there is The county is responsible for providing public television to our public, and so I've been going to that as an assignment for a couple of years now. And so if anybody else wants that, that's fine.
I have no problem taking over what Commissioner Adams had, unless either of you want to pull something from that, or
That's what he had to.
For me, commissioners, I'm good as is. I think my load is comfortable and I'm happy with the progress we're making. So it'll be between the two of you to decide.
what do you think, Commissioner Stubb?
I am okay to stay with this I have already because I am the 7th County Infrastructure, and I just been nominated to be treasurer, so I had to
Way
do.
to go.
Scary, huh?
No, I think you're great.
No, I had to track of what people are spending, and when I was in, have me and Brian had the same account, we keep spending the same money, you know.
Yeah.
So I had to be careful. Anyway, so in the Navajo Rehabilitation Board is the board that we both attend, and it's important to our area that we represent, and with the Navajo Commission, we have to take turns because we cannot be both in the same meeting.
Yeah.
And so, and Commissioner Harvey has done a good job representing us most of the time. The first time before we were commissioner, we were in a meeting, and I had my phone next to me because every time they were talking in Navajo, Commissioner Harvey would translate for me, and that was really nice to have I wish I could have him my phone every meeting I go, but I learned it when they're talking about water and money peso, and I can understand when they're talking Washington, and anyway, but I would, if there's other ones that are still left over after you take the one that Commissioner Adams had, then we can probably divide among the rest. I don't know.
What else? What have we got left if I take his?
So some of his are gone. So the Community Impact Board is no longer one of the boards that we attend.
Wait, we do not attend that anymore?
No.
The CIB?
Yeah, no, that one's gone. That went to
That is
Phil, Commissioner
of-
Winfield.
Oh, yeah.
Was appointed
Yes,
that
that's
one
true.
for Grand
So-
County.
I
It
think that
rotates.
those
and
come
so-
from the government,
They
the
do.
governor's office.
I'll
The-
take the. Oh, go ahead.
So the USIP board, we have Commissioner Stubbs went to USIP as the secondary, the alternate, and so we would need now an alternate for the USIP board to attend those board meetings. Typically 2 per county. And
So you already have that one, right? Commissioner Stubbs,
Yeah,
the USIP?
and we need a second one. We need an alternate to go to that one, so we can
So,
put you
okay.
there.
So I put that as an alternate.
Yep, and then let's see on his some of them that we
Let's
were
see.
missing.
So rodeo goes over, UAC goes over.
So the Southeastern Utah Watershed Council,
Mm-hmm.
he attended that one, and so we can slide that to you.
Okay.
And then let's see, the UAC Board of Directors, Commissioner Adams was the chair.
I'll
on that
go, but
one,
I'm
so-
not the chair.
No. Oh no. Well, and they do their own election of who the
That's a
who
no.
the chair is.
Just
So
start.
you can go to UAC on there, so you could be the representative there. The new so Commissioner Adams would set on and attend the jail building
Yeah.
committee,
I can pull that over.
and so transportation you can have
Mhm.
Whedon Road and yours.
Right.
The new one on here is the San Juan County, Utah 250 Community Committee. And I think that one's the resolution that you have.
I had
Commissioner
to
Stubbs.
present that. I had the opportunity to visit both representative from Ben was in the meeting. I talked to them, Ben and
Okay. So it sounds like you're
Since
Since you're
underway on
already
that
doing
one.
that, you just want that?
So we'll push you there
Okay.
on there for Commissioner Stubbs.
it takes a former born citizen to appreciate the greatness of America sometimes, you know.
Sure.
And so
Absolutely.
Sure.
why not?
Okay.
And it's anyway, I can talk a little bit more.
Now, I'm
anytime.
assuming that I'll either have a huge inbox full of emails when all this comes up, or someone's gonna.
Yeah,
Tell
we
me
will
on
just
this.
we'll let them know that you're that, and then figure out when the meetings are so that
Okay,
so
we
that
can
you
have that
those, and
discussion
so,
after.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll
Okay.
we'll have Rosa help us through that
All right. Thank you.
process, and then
And
I don't
also,
know.
you have to take into account you'll be going to training.
Yes.
And that
Yeah.
too, like, yeah, the first year was the training. The second year I did training, leadership training. It was gonna
Oh, I
be-
actually am in the middle of that.
Oh,
But a couple of those they have scheduled the same time as our commission meeting. So I'm like,
well,
one of them I can't go to. But.
I have been on Zoom meeting. Sometimes you're over here in Zoom meeting because well,
In training.
trying to figure out how
Sure.
to do
So there
Okay.
is one of that's
12:30, so.
Okay.
one of them that's missing on here is Commissioner Adams was appointed to a NACO board. I believe it's public
Oh.
lands.
Yeah,
Is that the one
as
we're
well,
going back
so
to
that
in
one you
DC?
would, yeah, that
Okay.
one you would be on
All
as
right.
well if you're taking his, and then so what this doesn't include is there are opportunities with Utah Association of Counties to belong to some of those affiliate
especially in the
group boards.
legislature because we meet on
Yes.
Wednesday morning. Different groups are meeting on
Yes, yep.
Zoom to.
So a lot of people will question, well, why are you going up to the legislative session early? You know, we may not have an item on one of the legislative agendas. Well, it's these affiliate groups that are meeting in between. So as a group, we come together and you commissioners will vote on bills. But then in the affiliate groups, you have discussions whether or not to support or
Right.
oppose to the other
Yeah.
commissioners. And
It's
so,
a good.
so there's a lot of
Can I
opportunity.
eject that thumb drive?
Yeah, go ahead, Paul. Yeah, you should be good.
Okay.
And so there is that piece to it that is missing, as well as they've always encouraged you to take on more NACO assignments on there. And so that's something that you guys should watch for other than the one that you're already going
Okay.
to be assigned to. There's just a lot more opportunities than I have listed here as boards that are currently there. And so
All right.
so we'll continue to fill that, watch for those other opportunities to join up for those, but you will be busy with the boards. And so.
Oh, I can already see. All right.
Okay, and so I think we got that. I'll go through and we can make the adjustments on here, try to finalize what this looks like, and then send it to you. But
Okay.
I think we've got it.
Do we need a
So-
motion and second that? Then, Matt?
This one,
Or just
yeah, I'd make a
discuss.
motion with the changes as discussed
okay.
on there, and so we'll get you. I'll format it and send it back. Let me know if I misheard you.
So I guess to summarize, I think what we've done is shifted all of Commissioner Adams onto Commissioner Mon. I'm Commissioner Harvey's keeping as is.
Yep.
There's no addition, is there, Commissioner Stubbs, to you?
Commissioner
Yeah,
Stubbs
I
has
thought
an
you were
additional.
thinking-
She has the Utah 250 community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Utah.
okay.
And then everything else goes to Commissioner Mon.
So the Utah
So-
250 is the only thing we need to cite under Commissioner Stubbs. So if you got that, that's the motion.
I
Please.
get in my first responsibilities. So, do we make a motion?
Yes.
Do we approve what's being discussed
Yes.
regarding assignments?
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay. As discussed, right? Okay. Motion by Commissioner Stubbs to approve our commission assignments as discussed, seconded by Commissioner Mon. Any other comments or questions, commissioners?
No.
No.
Okay, then let's go ahead and vote on our decision. All those in favor to approve as discussed, say aye.
Aye.
All right, that's 3 in favor, unanimous approval. Moving on to our next item, item 14. Matt?
Okay, item 14 is I just lost it. So consideration and approval of the standard service contract between Terracon Consultants Incorporated and San Juan County for geotechnical engineering at the San Juan County Public Safety Building. Our maintenance director was going to be here, but it looks like he's not here. Essentially what this is going back to the jail remodel. We do have to update the geotechnical. When they first constructed the jail over there, we used Terracon Consultants to do the geotechnical for the project. And now we need them, years later, we need them to come back and they're going to update where they have, but obviously codes have changed. So for $23,700, that is what it'll cost. They'll also be able to provide the geotechnical review on the new property that we just did the exchange for. They'll be able to look to see if there's anything buried under there that they've got to be concerned with on the as they remove the soil and get it back down to the elevation that they need. And so essentially that's what this contract is, to get the geotechnical for that project. The funds that'll be used for this to pay for that are already coming. They will come out of the project funds. And so it already has funding it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do we have the minerals right and on the spot in case we hit gold, silver,
Absolutely,
oil?
we do.
I think.
Yes,
I
if there's
think
oil, we're in trouble.
Yeah,
We're going to
there's
be
oil.
relocating the gel.
Well, we can build another jail if we can get oil. Have pumping.
Absolutely.
Anyways, we just to make sure that we have the mineral rights.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that.
Motion to approve the contract.
Mhm.
Motion by Commissioner Stubbs to approve the
I don't know if
contract.
people have other question besides my question.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Mon seconds the motion to approve. No questions or comments, right?
Mhm.
Okay, let's vote. All those in favor to approve the contract, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's 3 in favor, unanimous approval. Moving on with our agenda item number 15. Matt.
Okay, this is consideration and approval of a letter of support for the San Juan County Small Business Assistant Grant proposal to provide financial assistance to local small businesses, fostering economic growth and ensuring long-term sustainability for the community. Commissioner Stubbs.
Okay, last year we had under the opportunity grant that we received for the county, we had about $170,000 for people in businesses to apply. And we got a request of over $1 million for different projects and different things. And I think that was one of the hardest meeting for me to sit down and go through those projects. You had to pick and choose. And I felt the disappointment for those people. They had a dream and maybe an idea, lots of good ideas, but the money can only go so far. Most of the other counties, they just choose because they have just about everything. They can take the money and invest it in one project, which is a good idea if you don't have so much need. But so between me and Talia, I decided that we're gonna go after some grants to help match the funds so we can have more to offer. And so we created this letter so it can, instead of coming every time, we can use it in our, as we apply for grants. I know she's applying with a grant that it's interesting because yesterday somebody contacted me about the grant, and a good thing I talked to Mac about that because Talia is working on the one grant, and so we just try not to duplicate efforts. And so, and I think that this simplified for us so we don't have to be, contacting Commissioner. I had to call Commissioner Adams in Italy. And I forgot that he was there, and it was in the middle of the night over there. And so, anyway, so I think this will simplify and make it be able to get more funds. And there's for your benefit, Commissioner Mon, we have a study that was done in our county by Science Bank, and it shows the leakage of the money that leaves our county. The people go, I don't know if you saw that, close to $90 million goes, people shop outside because we don't have the things that they're trying to buy, so they go out. So the more we can retain those dollars, and we do good with accommodation. There's three things. The only two I can think: accommodation and gas purchase. We do good in our county. But other business, we are losing lots of money. I think as we see new business coming to our county, I think the 2 stores in Blanding is a good store that, by supporting helps some of the money to stay in our county. And anyway, so just trying to have different funds that we can help somebody. Like one of the things we helped somebody, they needed a freezer that new store they opened in the junction in LaSalle Junction there by the. They just needed that to keep, and so sometimes it's just keeping business going and being successful, and maybe if we have more money, we can help them expand so they can offer more. And one of the beneficiaries, most of the beneficiary of the money went to Monticello last time, where we helped quite a few of the motels that they needed improvements, refurbish new rooms so they can have more customers. And also we did a couple projects, some in LaSalle and Bluff. Blondie got one small project, but it has been a successful project there. And so we want to be able to help and even expand some to down the south part of our county, where we can help people with small, business. And anyway, so that is the purpose of this letter. And
so I have a question for you. So how much money do we have right now for this? 170,000?
Well, that's what we had last year. I think this year it's being done in a different way. It's going to be done in a little bit different way, so we can have different categories to help people. And so if me and Talia can come up with extra money, we can probably be able to invest in a business that can hire more people. And
so what I'm asking also is that if we get a grant, it has to have matching funds, then we have to have the funds available. So we do have the funds available, and the grant will match. So we're not having to come up with new money. Is that right?
No.
Okay.
The money's already allocated.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay.
Each year we get $200,000 from the state for economic development, and in there they're starting to ask and change the rules where they want more of a return on investment. They want to be able to show that your workforce development, economic development, stability, things like that. And so of that $200,000, we break it up. This comes to you, the commission, when we apply of how we break that up. Some of it goes to our base camp every year. Some of it goes to any economic development tool. We did, the RV stalls out of it one year, as well as the small business grant. And so if we can get this married and have another partner participating in those funds, so that, say that it's only 100,000 this year, if we can make it 200,000
through the grant,
then we can do more through that grant. So,
there's several places we're looking for. So maybe we get $5,000 from somebody, we can help that $5,000. And so I just think that because of our situation, we are, working on the budget. It's something that it's like I had to go find another job. At home, if you don't have money to pay your bills, you go find a new job. And so just trying to find some sources and funds. And I am in the process of writing something, one for matching funds, and just trying to learn where's money available to us. And I know as I talk to some people, they don't like the idea of federal dollars, but we are affected by federal decisions in a county where most of the land is controlled by the federal government without extra support for us. So I think we had to figure out a way to be able to bring some of those dollars into our community to compensate for what we're losing by the last land that we can collect taxes on.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the consideration approval of the letter of support for the San Juan County Small Business Assistant Grant proposal.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Mon to approve the cover letter, really. All right, motion by Commissioner Mon,
I'll second it.
second by Commissioner Stubbs. Any other comments before we vote? Questions? Okay, let's vote then. All those in favor to approve the letter, say aye.
Aye.
It's 3 in favor. I also voted 3 in favor, unanimous approval of the letter for the Small Business Assistant Grant proposal. Moving on to item number 16. Matt?
Okay, this one here is consideration and approval of a resolution supporting America 250 Utah on recognizing and approving of the San Juan County Utah 250 Community Committee. Commissioner Stubbs again.
Okay, when I saw this email come through my email, it's America 250 Utah, and this resolution is trying to support this. It's coming from the governor office, and it's to create a program. And so when I first got it, I was adding the math, and I thought it's not 250 years this year, it's next year. But they want us to start right now so they can end on the July, on the anniversary of the 250. And it has there's multiple pages there that you can read, and it involves and what it's basically the mission. The mission is basically just for us to help celebrate and honor the birth of a nation. And I made a comment that as being a foreigner-born citizen of the United States, I always say I'm so blessed because I have a mother country and I have a father country. And just to be able to come from one of the most beautiful countries in South America, Argentina, and come to having lived there with an American family for almost 5 years, I was taught the freedoms of America. And coming over here and seeing that and be a witness for opportunities and just to see the value, the inspiration of our founder fathers. And I used to look at American people like a different kind of an animal. I married one. Anyway, no, in my church, half of the people were American and half were Argentine. And I would observe, and in Argentina, because we had kind of like a fascist kind of country, we couldn't express lots of opinions to other people. Even as a little child, I was told not to talk, because you never knew how you'd be punished or whatever. And to see them being so open and so full of confidence and not being afraid or not even, I used to just be appalled at the things that they would say in the, anyway, later I found out that my foster father was a CA op friend, so he would ask lots of questions to my friends, which I thought, ask that question. But it is, we are getting, when I first came, I live with another American family here, and lots of the values of America was known by everybody. But lately, I feel like we are kind of losing the love and maybe knowing about, because many of these things are not taught in school, and I think it's up to us as family and community to educate people, to engage them. But they have tons of suggestions and activities and involve schools. And I even went looking to see if they have money, but I think lots of the activity that can be done doesn't cost very much. And so if we can work with schools where they can have, writing contests or whatever. But I did visit with somebody from Monticello, can't think his name now. He is the administrator. And also with Ben from Blanding. He's someone that does that from the city of Blanding, and we talked about that this morning. So we're looking forward to kind of working together and bring the spirit of America a little bit stronger in our children, so they can, have the good love for the nation, for their heritage, and it has projects that can be included with all our culture. A multiple culture here in San Juan County that we can celebrate that way.
So I'll make a motion for the consideration approval of a resolution supporting America 250, which is the semi-quincentennial, on recognizing and approving whatever our county will be involved in on that committee. So
Very good.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Stubbs. I think for my comment, Commissioners, I noticed that there is a commissioner or a committee member who's from the tribal side of things.
Good, we need to include them in.
His name is
Is that about the balloon?
yeah, it's right there. Darren Perry. He's a tribal leader. I think he's Uinta Ute, maybe, or it might be Shoshone. But just pointing that out, and perhaps because we're from a county
Yeah.
where we have Native Americans,
Yeah.
I would just ask commissioners to also support that idea. And I saw it in the sentence up there.
Yeah.
At the first peoples, and then everyone else came
Yeah, they mentioned it right
thereafter.
up at the top.
I really like that, and just paying recognition to the tribes that are here. If we could also just remind the local leaders that there was a First Nation before, and they are also important. That would be wonderful, I think. Just my thoughts. And
Yeah, and I agree. I through my DNA, I'm part of both sides of the ocean, and so it's nice if we can work united and recognize each other's value, and we can progress a lot faster when we can work together and recognize the contribution of each and the beauty that each of our traditions and
very good.
have.
Appreciate that, commissioners. With that being said, let's vote. All those in favor for the resolution? Aye.
Aye.
That's 3 in favor. Unanimous approval. Down to our last item for business and action. Item number 17. Matt?
Okay, this one here was consideration and approval of a contract for appraisal services between San Juan County and the Appraisers
Oh, thank
Incorporated. got Rick here. I don't know if you wanted to present this real fast, or you will know more about it. Yes.
All right, so the appraisers group is out of Spanish Fork, and it is Gordon Lowe's, and he is very familiar with San Juan County. He's been doing appraisals in San Juan County for 30 plus years. We had him do all the commercial properties in 2022. So that was a big project for their group, and they did a wonderful job. And so now what we're doing is we're dividing the county into 5 areas, and we're going to work on the Spanish Valley area and the LaSalle area, and basically everything north of 29 South, Township 29 South. So Gordon Lowe, we have to hire somebody to do the commercial businesses, the commercial properties. And the appraisals group, they do Grand County, and they do Duchesne County. They do a number of counties. So they're a very good group. And so we have to hire them for that, to do our commercial appraisals, and also any new businesses. So the O'Reilly Autos Parts in Blanding, the new General Family Dollar store in Blanding, they'll also do those. And they'll also pick up some businesses that are still working on finishing their construction. Also, the appraisals group has asked they've asked that help us on our residential appraisals. So in this contract, they want to do up to 500 residential appraisals, or not appraisal, but reviews. It's not an appraisal, it's a review. So you go to somebody's home, you look at the property, you see the home still there. They measure the outside so that we get a square footprint of the home, so we know the square footage of the home. And they're willing to do that as well, which will be a tremendous help for us. The state of Utah came in October and said they didn't like us just doing Spanish Valley for this year. They expanded it to LaSalle, to all the subdivisions, Flatiron Mesa, Bridger Jack Mesa, clear up to the border of San Juan County and Grand County. So instead of 300 homes, now we had 700 homes to do, plus. And instead of 800 parcels of land, now we had 2,000 parcels of land. So with Gordon Lowe's group, the appraisals group, and this contract, they're willing to help us out on this project to do it's called a detailed review of what we're going to label from now on as Region 1 of San Juan County. And they're willing to put not only the time in to look at the property, but they're also willing to put the information into our software program, which will be a humongous help. I mean, ginormous. It's wonderful.
So do we have a time frame to finish the project?
Yes, so the state of Utah came down and they said, we want the goal to finish this project, a detailed review of Region 1 by April 1st.
April 1st?
April 1st, yes.
Do we need to add that to the contract?
No.
And so how many?
Because we can go over. I mean, that's just a goal.
Okay.
So barring winters and, weather and different things.
So how many homes do you have to do per day in order to, how many property or whatever had to be done in order
About 25 per day.
25
For my office, for me to do that, for my
25
office.
to
go out there.
To get the 3,000?
Mm-hmm. So the homes, the improvements on a property, the home or the garage, sheds, things like that, that would add value, they're going to take actually somebody to go to the property and look at it and measure and say, hey, the shed's 30 by 40 feet, or the home is, a nice big huge home. It's got 2 levels and different things. For the vacant property, we can actually go with our GeoEarths and our different satellite programs and look down on a vacant property or greenbelt property and say, okay, this is still empty. We know it's empty, and we can do that very quickly on those.
Do you mind emailing us a map of that region
So-
1? And we don't need it today, but I would like that
Yeah.
eventually so we can
Yeah.
see exactly what part of the county that will cover. I mean, you've told us, but and then
That's a good
the next time
idea.
we do, we could see the next area that how it's kind of mapped out for us.
Yes.
Okay.
So just for today, it's just 29 South, but I can send you a map
That'd be
of that,
great.
everything north. And next year, we're going to do Monticello.
Okay.
Which will be fun. Which will be exciting. So basically, these reviews that we're doing pretty much are the first time it's been done
Sure.
for many, 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 many years.
Okay.
So it's a great project. I picked up a number of homes that have not been on the tax roll, large homes, $500,000 plus homes.
Right.
So it helps the county with the tax base, and then all of
We
us with
almost
our
have
tax
those
rates.
kind of homes and blending the cost, but the little homes a little.
Oh, yes.
So,
The market value of
That's the
properties.
average home price here, $500,000.
So we're asking for your permission.
Going back to Mac's question about not having, we're saying
Oh.
April 1, but
Oh, okay.
is there some way?
So
It's either, I'm a little worried that if we don't reach that, then are they going to keep extending it because they're getting paid by? Do we have it kind of have that locked down a little bit better?
we do. So by statute, by May 22nd, or we can extend that a little bit further into the end of May or even into the first part of June, we have to close a tax roll.
Okay.
So all the information that's gathered, all the corrections and improvements must be into the tax roll, hopefully by that time, by May 22nd.
Okay.
And so the state of Utah said April 1st will give you a lot of time to get that information, make sure it's correct, make sure you have everything
Okay.
done by time we close.
so when did they give us this? Okay, when did we start counting? A month ago, 2 months ago? I just want to know what is the tally right now? What percentage are we?
So they have plans to start next week,
Okay, so
but it's up to them on their schedule. And then I have properties that I specifically want to look at. There's some properties in Browns Hole. There's some properties on Bridger Jack Mesa that have already started, so I'm going to finish those. And so I will be out doing some reviews as well during that time from now till April 1st. And then we'll see I hope we get some snow. LaSalle's got a little bit of
no,
snow.
we're hoping not for snow. I guess in that case, I
but we can't, we have to
between
stop.
water,
snowshoeing.
between water and penalties.
But, So the appraisers group, so the difference between them, and we're going to have to work on this. So I have a measuring tape. I actually take a tape and measure the home. They have a laser. They just boom, 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 goes right into their computer. They just download it into the software and they're done. And that is so fantastic that they don't have to run a tape around and they don't have to write things down by hand. And then I have to come back and put it in, and we take pictures of everything so we get a nice picture of a home. And
So how big is their group? That's just,
they have, so Gordon's an appraiser, and he has an assistant, Jeff Salmon's an appraiser. Then they have 2 office people. So, and he said there might be up to 5 people helping on this project. But basically the 2 will be in the field and the rest will be putting stuff into the computer and making sure we're getting things correct and not duplicating. We don't want to duplicate on this thing.
so at the end of the day, you get a count every,
We have not worked that out yet.
because then it'd be nice to, I don't know.
Oh, yes.
I always kind of like a person that, when I was running for the campaign, I would tell him my votes every night.
So I need to come
To see
back.
how close I was, So I just kind of with numbers that way, but
Probably a good idea to come back in March and
That's what I'm
update,
saying, if you could
you know,
come
give an
back and-
update on where we're at with this project.
Okay.
Because, yes,
In the agreement, it just mentions that they'll do the land guide and the model in their system. In here, so you mentioned they'll be using Puma.
yes,
Is Puma for commercial as
yes.
well?
Mhm.
So they'll be updating our software as well as theirs.
The information in Puma,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And we've got Puma, the people over Puma already approved that situation with them,
Yeah,
gave them
yeah.
approval to work in our system.
Okay. I just want to make sure that they're not building
No.
their database with your data and then not giving you the data.
No.
And so,
No, they're. In fact, the state of Utah wants to do our land guide, and so we'll work somewhat with the state of Utah. So I'm hoping the appraisers group will have more time and more resources to get out in the field and do more boots on the ground, look at more homes.
and so their land guide that
Workforce.
they're updating is the commercial.
Yes,
Okay.
just the
so we still
commercial at
need
this
a
point.
Land guide for the residential.
We need a land guide for residential, which we developed back in 2022.
Okay.
Which I've got a book of all the lands and all the properties, which I use all the time. It's fantastic that when you're before a judge or anybody else, you can say, well, this is the land guide and this is how it's developed. It's developed upon sales of properties and the market value of properties. And the land guide, so you can go to Commissioner Stubbs' property in Blanding and I can pull up the land guide for Blanding and say, okay, this part of Blanding's, the land is valued at this price. Or where at Long Canyon, so you're in between. So we actually have the land guides for the cemetery districts, the countywide districts, everything. And everything's not equal. I mean, Bug Point is not equal to LaSalle. Cedar Point has got some beautiful farm ground on it and these different things. So it's been a lot of fun doing this.
So if he'd come back in March. Yeah.
All right, commissioners, how would you want to move contract for appraisal services?
well, I think that need to be done. I think so. I don't see how how it can. I just feel like it's such a short amount of time. So I feel like it's an urgency there for us to get it done, and hopefully, it should be a good thing too, besides just being lots of work to start with. Maybe hopefully we can get some properties that people have not been paying, then maybe that will bring some. At this point in life, after doing our budget, I'm very dollar oriented, so I hope we can get some more money with a fair value for the properties,
Right.
without inflating them or whatever. But so I'll make a motion that we.
Motion by Commissioner Stubbs to approve the contract,
I'll second that.
seconded by Commissioner Mon. Any other comments or questions before our vote?
No, thank you for
Alright.
coming, and
Thank you.
Okay, let's
have
go
one
ahead
more?
and vote. All those in favor to approve the contract for appraisal services, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's 3 in favor. That's unanimous approval for the contract for appraisal services. Okay, moving on with our agenda, we are now going to go into Board of Equalization mode. So we're going to need a motion.
So,
I make a motion to go to our board of equalization.
Motion by Commissioner Stubbs to move into Board of Equalization.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Mon. All those in favor to move into the Board of Equalization, say aye.
Aye.
That's 3 in favor. We are now in Board of Equalization. Item number 18. Let's see. Rick.
All right, this is another fantastic thing. So, for Commissioner Mon and just a review, Board of Equalization is the commissioners. So you are the board to make sure that these things are done correctly. Now, as of January 1st, going forward to the time we close our tax roll, so May, we can do all the corrections down in the assessor's office without coming up to here. But this will close out the 2024 year for us. And so we're actually working in 2025. We've been working 2025 for 3 or 4 months now. So going forward, we can make the corrections downstairs and we don't have to bring these up before you. Number one, the Montezuma Canyon Lodge, that was presented back on December 17th. And Commissioner Adams asked that we review this one again, that we make sure we're okay. And so we thought, Lyman and I thought we could do this on the 30th, but you guys were all busy on the 30th with budgets. So this will finish out 2024, and then we had 3 others that came in. Now, for a Board of Equalization, everything I bring before you, most of those after our hearings in August, we actually have a judge come and do hearings in August. And he makes his reviews and he makes his recommendations and so forth. But after that time, we sometimes review with him, sometimes not. If there's an error on our part, on the county's part, then I can just bring it before you, the Board of Equalization, and present it, and then you can recommend or not recommend or however you feel appropriate. So with number one, I did talk to the owner again. I reviewed what he was doing. So there is 2 homes on the property. There's a big home, and then there's a smaller home that was built just in 2023. He's living in the big home full time, and then he's renting out the smaller home to his sister full time. And then there's a family that's moved here from back east, and they've been in the home, living in the big home, with the parents, and grandparents, and they're going to be moving up to Cache Valley, is what I was told. So this is just regarding the small home. So we had it as a secondary residence. Now, as a secondary, you don't get any breaks. As a primary residence, even if it's a full-time rental, you get the 45% reduction. And so we're asking the commissioners to approve that it be changed from a secondary to a primary for the year 2024. Values don't change. It's
the destination.
just the designation.
So what was the concern that Commissioner Adams had before, just to clarify, what was he clarifying? That we were not sure if the daughter or granddaughter was.
We just needed to clarify that because
Right.
there is the daughter and children. So we just want to make sure, were they living with the parents? Were they in that second home? Because they are very transit. And so that's what we were trying to clarify,
Okay.
to double check. I do know
Right.
there is a sister, but of course making sure that she is occupying that other home.
Right.
So we just need that clarification because there's that one in between family kind of not totally
Sure.
set here.
Sure. So both structures have been used as primary residences for the sister and then the grandparents, and he said the kids were going to move out sometime.
They're trying to sell a house back east and have had a
He said
really
they-
hard time selling it, and thought they would
Yeah,
have
they
sold
did
it
that.
6 to 9 months ago, and
Right.
it hasn't happened. So that's just, we want to make sure who was actually living in that other home.
Right.
So thank you.
You're welcome. And then on number 2, Mr. Thornberry called me up and said, well, my home is way, way overvalued. And when I put it through our Puma software, and Puma is going to be a word you're going to hear me say, we ran it through the software program, and I'm going like, whoa, yeah, your home was overvalued by almost $100,000. So we're bringing that in And also it was a secondary residence, and now, no, it's a primary residence. And so we need to change the designation and reduce the overvaluation to the correct valuation on number 2. So he will receive almost an $1,800 refund because he's already paid his taxes for the year. The third one is one that we found a shed on, and we put a secondary residential lot value under the shed, and there's no water, there's no electricity, there's no sewer, so it's just a shed with vacant land underneath it. And this is north of Monticello, so we're changing so an improved lot in San Juan County with sewer and water and electricity, we have a $25,000 value on, no matter where you're at, except for Spanish Valley. And some of these places are just really expensive. So a vacant lot north of Blanding is $8,000 per acre. So we just want to do that and return that to, it's a green belt. And then the last one, there was no home on the property, just a garage. And when, again, I ran that through the software program, we reduced that value quite a bit on that, down to that $59,000. So they're just corrections. These are all corrections.
So that last one they called, did we go and see that?
No, I have not gone out there and seen that.
Would that be in the
See, S.
property
Davies.
that the appraisers would look at just to confirm that?
No, this one is at Elk Meadows,
Yeah.
32S, 32 South. That's around the Elk Meadows area.
I wonder if we just ought to confirm that, because
So what?
rather than just being called in.
Well, so I can go with overhead and look down on it and go
Oh, you
like,
have
okay,
looked at
yeah,
that.
there's that, and we have seen I have been out to that area in the past, and in fact, we were out there in 2023 looking at properties, and yeah, there's no home on this property. There's a nice big garage, but it's not a home.
All right, so we have 4 recommendations for corrections, right?
Yes.
These are corrections. Commissioners, any other comments or questions, and how would we want to do this?
I have a question about when you evaluate property, do you evaluate what you see from the outside? Because with our home in Blanding, I have a friend, she said, I want to come and see your home. And I told her, it's just a Hollywood home. And she looked at me in a way weird, but because I second language speaker, I made to, kind of like they have those stage places for movies. It's just a facade. Because we built all the outside, the roof and the siding and the windows, and we stopped one room at a time.
Right.
As we went. And so if somebody comes and in those days, somebody come and appreciate the home value by what they see in the outside. They see this big house. And I'm just curious if I guess the evaluation is never done with how a home may be in the inside.
Yeah,
I'm not asking for me,
yeah.
just trying to for general knowledge.
Part of we rely upon the building inspector, so Ben Tomko, to go out doing his inspections, to come back and say, hey, it's all finished.
Oh, I see.
And then the homeowner has some responsibility too,
Okay.
to let us know.
Okay.
So Lyman's going to do all these corrections. I cannot do any of these corrections. He's got to put them in on his computer. So when he sends his notices out next July, and I tell people this, you got to start looking at your notices from the county. When you receive that notice and it doesn't look right, give us a call. We can come out and look at your home. We can walk through your home if you want us to. But people have got to be, there's some responsibility on the homeowner. Yeah. So, yeah.
Anyway, that's just.
So I'll make a motion to approve the changes for the Board of Equals. I guess that's what it is, Board of Equalization.
Yeah,
Recommendations by the auditor.
corrections.
Corrections.
Mhm.
Assessor.
Motion by Commissioner Mon to
I'll second
approve
it.
the recommendations for
Okay.
correction, seconded by Commissioner Stubbs. Just, I guess for me and my comments, just curious, would it help commissioners to ask for property owners' pictures, maybe, as part of supporting documentation moving forward?
That would be helpful.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That way, when we have these corrections, just like Rick says, the homeowner has their responsibility to report,
I like that.
and that process would be they take the pictures,
Yeah.
and we bring them here to review.
It's a great idea.
All right.
That's an excellent idea.
All
Excellent.
right, commissioners. I think that's the only comment I had. Let's take a vote. All those in favor to approve the recommended corrections, say aye.
Aye.
That's 3 in favor. I voted as well. The motion to approve is unanimous for the corrections. We now need to get back into
Okay, we need
commission. So let's exit, commissioners. Who?
to exit the Board of Equalization. A motion to.
Motion by Commissioner Stubbs to
I'll
exit
second that.
Board of Equalization and seconded by Commissioner Mon. Okay, let's vote to exit Board of Equalization. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
3 in favor.
Thank you.
Unanimous approval. We are now back on our commission agenda, and we are on to commission reports. Commissioners, any reports you would like to share?
I don't have any.
Commissioner Stubbs?
Gladly.
It's only been a couple hours.
I just, being at the end of the year and going through the budget and kind of brought back memories when we were first married. It seemed like a dollar didn't go as far as we wish we could go, and I just want to speak to our workers, all the departments, and they were so mindful of the need for us probably to have had a raise, but when we were so short in funds, I'm committed to find some sources where we could improve a situation, and I appreciate all the work as that everyone does. There's no one person that knows what each of our jobs entail, and so I just want my report to be a thank you to each one of you, and know that as we make decisions, they're hard decisions when they come to us, and we are mindful of your needs, and sometimes we don't say much because sometimes we cannot say much. And so I just hope that you understand that we are nothing. The people that are sitting here next to me, that all of us have good intentions of how to fix and how to improve our county. And I just want to wish you a happy new year, and I pray every night for every single members, from the little child to the older, for prosperity, for protection, for us to persevere in our roles, so we can be able to continue and be able to see a beautiful San Juan County flourish. It is a beautiful place to live, and a place that I have grown to like, having come from a big city, and I appreciate I still not used to the quietness, but I love the people. That's what makes San Juan County is the people, and so I grateful for the opportunity to represent people of San Juan County, and I just want to wish you a happy New Year, and I feel very confident that the good days are coming, and we just concentrate. And when I used to teach child development, we would talk about what is a area that sometimes we feel responsibility, and it's called the circle of influence. How why we influence. And when I used to be at the college, I was responsible for about 300 people between students and daycare and preschool and things like that. And I thought that was big, but now just feeling the responsibility to have this bigger circle of a San Juan County, and each of us and each of you have a circle of influence. Sometimes it's the people that we work with, sometimes it includes our family, includes the neighbor across the street, includes the neighbors to both sides of you. And I think if we can take care of each other and realize that we all have our trials, if we think that somebody has it easy, it's because we don't know. There's times where my students say, how come? One day one of my students said, they were talking about their walls in my office, and I was just correcting papers, and one said, Mrs. Stubbs doesn't have any, she has everything, and she doesn't have, and I let her start crying because at that time I just barely lost my son, and I was so homesick for home. and sometimes we don't know, just because we put a smile or keep going, we don't know. And so if we can just be aware of each other, and we never know what straw can be the one that breaks the camel back. And so if we could just, just work, if we can just work together, I know that we're gonna come out to where maybe someday we can be one of the richest county again. And I just wanna leave you this with, I pray in my heart for each of you, and that's my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Stubbs, for the sentiment and those kind words. The only report I have, Commissioners, is last week on Friday, the Navajo-Utah Commission invited me to attend their monthly Navajo-Utah Commission meeting out in Mexican Water chapter. And so I was there as an item, and also got to see Talia, who was there also presenting on the economic development project that she was doing. And she did a great job. But really what I updated the Navajo-Utah Commission on was the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council's priority list for this year. Our 9 items that we're seeking support, maybe possibly funding for the Utah legislature, as well as, we file our priority listing with Utah Association of Counties, so that it's through them that they are also able to work with the committees, the judiciary committees, public safety committees. But I think for us, the highlight of my report to the commission was that we wanted to continue to work towards an agreement between our sheriff's department and the Navajo Nation Police, and their feedback is they would like our support to see if federal funding would be available that would be funding for risk, just as USIP is a funding pot for public safety that we pay into to protect our police officers. That the Navajo Nation is their public safety is 638. So it's a federal program that became a Navajo Nation run program. Because Navajo Nation's a sovereign nation, they only fund their police officers within their jurisdiction, but they're funded for their employees of the tribe. When it comes down to cross jurisdiction and covering anyone who is not from the Navajo Nation, they're willing to establish a fund for, I think, what they're calling a shared cross deputization program. I think that's their discussion. And in the agreement itself, I imagine they would reference that as a safety net for anyone who's not Navajo Nation who engages in apprehending or assisting with transport and maybe arrests or involvement with within Navajo Nation. So that was their thoughts. Also, as far as domestic violence treatment for the perpetrator, they were in complete agreement, because they see that it's the victims that have the most focus in rehabilitating and support, and everyone just kind of puts the perpetrator in jail, and then he leaves and returns back to his environment. No treatment, no counseling, and the victim returns into his environment, and it's only a matter of triggering the situation between the couple when domestic violence happens again and the perpetrator does not rehabilitate. And some of the recommendations that the tribal leaders had was, perhaps instead of bringing in victims, that there'd be a facility that would take both the perpetrator and victim side by side, not specifically treatment together, but side by side, to be part of the treatment program. So they each are both going through treatment at the same time and walking out of these facilities completing the treatment requirements for both individuals, victim and perpetrator. And also having the perpetrator be more involved in the court hearings, to hear the counts and to witness the injury that the victim has gone through, and the trauma there. They were saying when the perpetrator is involved, he's not required to come, he's not required to listen, he's not required to observe. But should the perpetrator be part of that process to witness the damage he's caused, it would help. So those were some of the feedback and comments I received from the tribal leaders, and they agree there needs to be a treatment program for the perpetrators so that they can also rehabilitate, to make that more successful for the couples. And they also agreed on finding funding to have the county continue to pursue an assessment to see if a substance abuse facility would be feasible in our county. And so they have our support at the state legislature should we ask for those funds to request for an assessment for our county. So they were very receptive of the strategies that the CJCC established. They were very happy that they saw our offer for having a tribal member at the table in the committee. And so that they will be talking about who would be appointed moving forward as well. So very positive in light of the strategic plan for the county and the efforts there. So that's the report I just wanted to share here. I think moving forward, the Navajo Utah Commission is in full support of that strategic plan, and they also just want to be continuing their involvement at the legislature when they're asking for their priorities. We support them as well. So I ask they submit their priorities from the tribe so we're aware, because we don't know. So we should be getting that from the Navajo Utah Commission by email at some point for our review. But that's the report I have, Commissioners. Other than Happy New Year.
Thank you so much.
It's a
That's
new.
such a very important
Yep.
thing to happen, you know.
Yep. So, looking forward to the next 12 months with the both of you. So that's it. We'll go ahead and move on to our executive session. This executive session item, do we need to specify what it's for?
We
for the record?
do. Yep.
So this is specifically for a review of, it's from the state, actually, is what it is.
So it's like, yeah, all you have to just state is that motion and the reason for, which is making a motion to enter into a closed executive session for strategy session to discuss pending or reasonable imminent litigation as permitted under UCA 52-4-205.
Okay, so we don't need to be specific. Okay, go ahead, Commissioners.
I make a motion to go into closed session for the discussion and strategy session for pending or reasonably imminent litigation as permitted under UCA 52-4-205.
Motion by Commissioner Mon to move into executive session.
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Stubbs. Let's go ahead and take a vote to move into executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's 3 in favor. Unanimous approval to move into executive session.